If you want your girl to break up with you, just don't listen to what I'm saying then. Relationships are simply the most simple but difficult rewards in life. Everyone wants one. Deny it if you want. Deep down, you probably do want someone dedicated just for you. And for the people who have one, it can either be going one of two ways. I'm sure you know which way you're going. Wherever you are in your journey, I want to break down something that I wish I was told at the beginning of my relationship that I started 7 years ago. See, in every relationship, you have emotional and you have logical. And those two need to find a way to come together. As human beings, we have different emotions, a ton of them, and we act differently for each and every one of them. See, it's the reason why when we're mad, we might say things that we usually would never say that is considered to be out of pocket. When we're sad, we do things that we don't usually do because we're trying to be happy. But love is an emotion too. And when you're in love, you act in a way that I'm sure is best put as unfamiliar to yourself and everybody else around you. I hate to follow the trends of people telling people things that are not necessarily true. Hear me out. Emotions are important for relationships, but the issue is, as human beings, men and women, we tend to usually have a hard time handling our emotions. More than 80% of the population has a hard time handling their emotions. So what does this mean about relationships? Marriages are on a decline. Divorce is at an all-time high in history, and relationships are lasting shorter than they ever have. And the number one thing to blame for the reason why a lot of these things are happening the way they're happening is because of people's emotions, and not to mention the lack of communication from it. See, too many times we allow our emotions to overpower us, and in relationships that happens all of the time. For example, I'm upset at my woman, so I go and buy food without her. Yeah, not the best move. The problem comes in where you find there's some people whose emotions spiral so out of control that they do things that they can't move back from, and that making the relationship dissipate. And I'm talking about the people who are so upset with their significant other that it drives them to cheat and lie and sneak behind their back. Those are all emotions driven by someone who did not know how to use proper logic. The logic stops you from doing things that your emotions would otherwise make you do. For example, wifey gets me mad. I decide I'm gonna get food without her, right? Logically speaking, if I go and do that, I'm only making the problem worse. So I have two options. She ain't gonna find out. I'm just playing. Am I? Do what's gonna save the relationship. You see, if you know your relationship might end if you do something, use your logic. A lot of people act as if logic does not exist. And something else I want to touch on about emotion and logic is who plays these roles most of the time. Now, what I'm about to say might be considered controversial because it is 2024, if I believe, and everything is different now. See, women are more emotional beings while men are more so logical. At least that's the way it's always been. See, a lot of the time, issues start in relationships where men and women kind of forget their role. So every action that you do has to be balanced in between, part logical and part emotional, so that everybody is happy. What ends up happening in relationships is this: woman is emotional. Man is unaware of his emotions, and what ends up happening is he ignores the woman's emotions. Woman thinks only emotional and ignores man's logic, and man feels disrespected because his logic is not being recognized by woman because woman is stuck in emotions. And the problem is both people need to realize that emotions and logic is essential for the relationship to carry on. Does she want me to problem solve, or does she want me to just hear her out? If the algorithm sent you here and anything that I said resonated with you, then give the video a quick like and comment a situation that might have happened to you previously, and give me some honest feedback on my video. If you made it to the end, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you, and I am done talking.